All right, this is going to be my first review ever. I'm going to be doing reviews for TV shows and possibly movies that I like, but mainly TV shows. Definitely for Fear the Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, and possibly The Walking Dead. I'm a huge fan of Game of Thrones. I'm probably going to be doing a review for the latest episode uh, after I do this episode of this, which is going to be my Fear the Walking Dead review and recap. Just going to go over the episode, and I've been wanting to do this for quite some time now. I had like to watch reviews. I watch a lot of recaps. I'll watch the episode that night, and then the next day, before work, I usually watch a few reviews and recaps just to, get anyone else's or everyone else's, perspective on the episode to kind of compare my thoughts on what I thought on the episode. So yeah, let's get into it. So essentially, they start off with the church scene, and everyone uh, in the church, and they're praying, and they have the pastor, and they've started off a lot of episodes like this where they kind of just throw you into something that's already happening, and you kind of just need to adapt, which is okay, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. That's just me. Let me know what you think about that. But it makes you think. It starts, it makes you think. Get the juices flowing. Now, essentially, they all take communion. They all take tablets, break bread, whatever, and they all end up dying, uh, kind of horrifically. And then Thomas Abigail shows up. Now, I need to watch this episode again. I usually watch it twice. So I think I missed some parts, but essentially he shows up and tries to help. And honestly, I'm just gonna go to the next scene here. I didn't, you know, uh, not for me. So we skip to Crazy Chris. Now, I watched a previous review from someone. I think they called him Bitch Chris. Oh, and I apologize if I curse and if that offends you. Um, and if you don't like cursing in my reviews, you can let me know, and I just will not have them in there. But yeah, they called him Bitch Chris. Now he's Psycho Chris, Crazy Chris. This dude he's like, you have to believe me. I don't even know if the acting's bad or if it's the writing. I have never liked this character. Maybe the acting's good. That's why I don't like him. Um, but I can't stand him. I can't stand him. Like if he died, I'd be I'd be okay with that. um, but that okay, so they skip to the scene, and then the boat gets not invaded, but they have you know I think it's two officers. They come aboard, and they're speaking Spanish, and then we have Daniel translating, which is cool. I like that scene, him translating, even though some of the translations were a little, yeah, but I liked it. I genuinely liked that scene. How they're all waiting. It was tense. And then eventually you hear, I guess, a disagreement, and then there's gunshots. And I'm like, man, please, 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 please let Louise have off those dudes. Do not let Louise be the one getting shot. Okay? And of course, Louise got shot. And also, I want to talk about another scene before. Uh, a scene with Madison and Strand that I like because I typically am not fond of those scenes with Madison and Strand. They kind of annoy me. And I'm sorry, but they just kind of do. Sometimes together they just don't. They're not really clicking well. They clash. I mean, Madison clashes with everyone, but they clash for whatever reason. Like I'm gonna throw you off your own boat that you let me on and saved me from the apocalypse. Like that whole spiel from episodes before kind of got under my skin. But they had a nice scene where they were like, how do you say asshole in Spanish? I think right. And he's like, yeah, don't. I like that scene. That actually made me laugh out loud. So we're gonna fast forward back, and then to the scene where we find out Luis is shot. Great. Great. I mean, he was an assertive, cool character. He got stuff done, and they killed him. For all we know, he's dead. I mean, I don't think you're surviving that. He got shot in the belly. So, um, great. And then I didn't like it. They ruined the scene I talked about with asshole in Spanish because they come out from under, wherever they are, under the ship, and he's like, "What happened?" And Strand's like walking, and he's like, "Someone said asshole in Spanish," and it's just like it was just didn't. I didn't like it. But whatever. Overall, not gonna ruin it for me. And then Daniel, we have Daniel. I genuinely like Daniel. He's might be my favorite character, kind of, sort of, especially sort of after this episode. But um, he comes out and starts just doing his thing. He starts going ape shit, starts stabbing the dead Spanish intruders that boarded the ship. Stabs him in the head, which is good. It's smart, whatever. Get it done. And then he goes straight for Louise, and it's like, whoa, whoa, dude, calm down, man. Like, he's still alive. I know he doesn't look good, but Jesus Christ. Especially me, I like Louise. So, uh, okay, they stop him. Ophelia stops him. I think Nick helps as well. And even Louise is like, dude, please, Jesus Christ, stop. And then they stop him from getting stabbed by Daniel, and he starts talking to Nick. Actually, you know what I'm talking about? The owl. I think it's an owl symbol. He's like, give this to my mother. And Daniel, I think there's a connection there, man. Like it feels like there's a connection. Like he's seen it before. He knows what it's associated with, or something. So okay, and he tosses it overboard, which is surprising. I didn't think he I don't know why I'm surprised by that, but it was surprising. Tossed it overboard, which I thought was a little cruel. Which was cruel, and that's not thinking it was cruel. It was cruel. And then after that, yeah, actually, Luis said something. He said madre to Nick, so that means mother in Spanish. So they had a conversation, which I thought, I guess. And so like, essentially they arrive after all that finishes. They arrive at the church, and they arrive at the church. They as soon as they get there, I mean, there's like, oh my god, there's like 20 walkers. I mean, probably the most walkers we've well, not the most walkers we've seen. I mean, since the plane crash, the most walkers we've seen, right? And but the thing about this scene is they're kids, man. I mean, there's so many young people, and they're not like walkers that have been like decayed and like corroded. Nah, man, these are kids like yo, like an hour ago. Like it's horrible. And everyone kind of has to do it. Like I think everyone has to like go there and take out a child, which is crazy. Um, which sucks, but it kind of gets you. It kind of gets us there with those characters. At least for the character development, it gets us to where they need to be to adapt to this world. So, in a way, it's horribly necessary, if that's a thing. But yeah, it's bad. So, uh, and then we get to a scene where I don't like, but it's not up to me whether I like it or not. But Daniel starts to lose his shit again. I mean, I like Daniel, man, and he's another scene where he starts to lose his shit, and I don't want him. I want him to keep it together. I know he's been through a lot in his past, and he's kind of going through and reliving a lot of things now. And Ophelia is kind of dealing with it with him, and she's like, you can look at her face. She's worried. Like every time you look at Ophelia, she's like, "Oh fuck," like it's happening again. So she like he also has a scene where with a kid, and he kind of hesitates to take out the kill. He has a flashback, and he hesitates. He freezes. And Ophelia kind of takes over, and she does it kind of mercilessly. It was kind of surprising for Ophelia, but she's crazy worried about him, which is sweet, but you can tell it's not. It's gonna get worse. And then we have another scene with Crazy Chris. Yeah, again with his craziness. This dude, I think he's gotta go, man. Like, there's a scene with Madison. I don't even like Madison that much, but I wanted him to save her. Madison was pinned down by a walker, and dude just is like, yeah, like get her. Like he's like please, come on, come on, come on. Like he wants it to happen. Like this is the perfect opportunity for it to happen, and not have him to do it. Like he doesn't have to do it in this case. So psycho, man. And then Madison's like, "Yo, dude, what the like?" And she's like, "Oh, she realizes, oh, he's not gonna save her. Let me save my mother." Uh, and then that all ends. They finish that scene, and then they wrapped all that up. No one, no losses there, and they arrive at the gates. Baja, is this Baja now? They arrive via the truck. Thomas left, and also Strand. That's the word. That's the most worried we've ever seen Strand. Strand took off like dude looked like Flash, man. I mean, did you see him? Like a track star, the way he took off, and shouting Thomas, Thomas, because he realized what was going down as soon as he saw the truck. Yep, yeah, and so they arrive and they're greeted, and it's kind of eerie. Like the woman dressed in white is eerie, how they greet them. That we meet Celia, who I like in the beginning of this episode. I really liked her in the beginning of this episode. So they greeted. They have to, just give all the weapons up because they're entering some sanctuary or whatever. And then Daniel, obviously being the only smart person again, you do not give your weapon up during a zombie apocalypse when you're entering a foreign location you've never been before. No, you don't give your weapon up, but he has to. He does. He concedes, gives it up, and so they enter, and we have the scene with Thomas and Strand, which is it's a good scene. I didn't really like their chemistry in the flashbacks. It was kind of like forced. It felt it wasn't so much in this episode, but I felt like it was. I don't know. It could have been a bit better, especially the opening scene. But the later scenes were better as well. So essentially, they find out, he's Thomas is bitten. He's walking dead, but not walking dead yet. Essentially, and then we have. I'm gonna go forward to the scene with we have uh, Crazy Chris and with his hands in his pocket and his oh um, I would never do that. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Alicia, him and Alicia Alicia's totally 100%. Actually, she has a right to be more pissed than she is, man. Like, this dude he has to go. And he's just like, oh, what are you talking about? What's wrong, Alicia? Are you mad at me? Uh, what are you watching on TV? And my hands are in my pocket. Like, oh my god, I can't stand him. Um, so he essentially threatens her. He says he threatens her. He's like, I don't want. He's like, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't. That's he's saying I don't want to hurt you. Don't tell anyone what happened. Okay. Oh my god, he's got to go. Um, so then we have the scene with Nick and Celia, which I love. This might be one of my favorite scenes in the episode. It is one of my favorite scenes in the episode. I love their chemistry. I love it. They're speaking Spanish. That's a great scene. He lets her know what Louise wanted, her to know, and it's heartwarming. It really is. And I like Nick. I genuinely, he seems like a very genuine character. He seems like he's very, he's trying to help everyone. Apparently, he's just kicked his addiction, which is, he did it. I don't know. I wish they could have went a little bit more in depth with that, but he just kicked it apparently. But yeah, I like him. It's a great character. And then we have the scene with Daniel losing his ish again. And Ophelia's like, okay, okay, Dad. Uh, I mean, honestly, Ophelia, like, low key, she is going through the most, man. She has lost her mother. Looks like she may be losing her dad. She is alone. Like, she's going through a lot. And they're not really emphasizing it that much. She's going through a lot. Now, then we also have a scene where Travis and Madison have a conversation, more like an argument, where you can kind of see both sides of this because right now, first of all, Travis is just he's just realizing how crazy his son has become, and Madison Madison clashes with everybody. Like even at the end of the Nick and Celia scene, she clashed with her. She was just commenting and complimenting her son. Your son's special. She's like, no, he's this. She's like, well, he's great. No, no, he's this. Oh, thank you for the hospitality though. Madison is, I don't know, man. She just gets under my skin a little bit. Like she just clashes with everyone, like and not even necessary. So, so they're talking with Travis, and she brings up, yeah, the fact that sorry, it was my phone. They bring up the fact that Chris is essentially trying to kill me or let me die. Talk to him, and they have an argument. She's like, hey, well, I was there when Nick needed his help through his addiction, and I don't know if anyone knows any friends or has people that are addicts, but it is another world. So if he was there with her for that, then she needs to be with him for this to deal with Chris because Chris is losing his shit. Yeah, I mean, this dude is becoming a walking, talking monster. So yeah. And now we also have a scene with Celia and Daniel as well. And this is the point where we kind of realize Celia's a kind of, sort of, maybe possibly batshit crazy. Which I was like, damn, man, I like Celia. I like her. I like her character. And you kind of see where this is going. You kind of feel it. You kind of can interpret, what's going on with her. All right, and yeah, and I apologize if this is everywhere, but it's my first review. But now I just want to touch on a couple scenes that kind of stood out. One that didn't make any sense: the scene with Ophelia and Nick. I liked it at first 'cause I thought it was heading to a more kind of scene, but not, nothing too extreme. It's something that may start up because I like Nick and I like Ophelia. But then it turns out she it just was for no purpose at all. But also in that same kind of area, we also see Daniel, who also sees a young boy drop a dog down a chute of some sort, and you already know. I mean, you know what's going on with the connection with Celia. You know what's going on, and then Daniel later, obviously investigates that, sees that they're keeping walkers alive, which is shades of Herschel and the farm and essences of that. So, it's I don't know, it's all right, I guess. And that's another point where you see she's a little kind of sort of crazy. And I mean, I don't know. I don't think I would. If you try to put yourself in in these situations that they're in, and you think, what would you do? And that makes it fun. That makes watching these episodes great. Um, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd do that, man. Like that's like look at that. That's not living. I mean, you said another point they touched on. They said they're not really dead, are they? Well, they might not really be dead, but like what is that? Nah, like that's not being alive either. That's something maybe worse than death. I don't know. Who knows? But now we also go to a scene where one of the better scenes with Strand and Thomas Abigail, because like I said before, a lot of it felt forced before, and flashbacks and things of that sort. Now, when he's actually dying and about to actually die, that felt most genuine. I felt like those were actual, maybe possibly real tears from Strand. I'm not sure, but you felt the emotion there. That's the point where you think he's about to kill himself as well, which I hope he doesn't, man, because Strand's one of the better characters in this series for me. You know, you know, I, Chris, whatever, you can have him. I don't really, Alicia, you can have him. Not really for me. I mean, they just don't really. There's no connection there. Strand, Daniel, Nick. Uh, yeah, that's another problem with the show. I think a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people either love it or hate it, and it's kind of hard to build attachments to these characters. It seems, but I don't know. But yeah, I think Strand's one of the better characters in the series and in the show. So I would hate for him to get killed off, especially because of a character we barely know as well. We don't really know too much about Thomas Abigail. So, but yeah, and that's in relation to how much we even know these characters at all. In this short mini series, what they're calling a series. So yeah, and it turns out, he doesn't kill himself, but also we get another scene to validate why Chris has to gotta go. He's gotta go. Dude is, dude is, dude has lost his mind, man. I don't even know what he's doing at this point. Like, it's so creepy. Like, is he really going in there to kill them? Did he really go in there and say Alicia, Alicia to test to see if he would like, if she, it was like a way to hear him do what he has to do? I mean, why else would he go in that room? There's a knife. He goes in. He walks to the knife. What are you doing? He walks closer to the knife. What are you doing? He grabs the knife. What are you doing? And then a gunshot strand saves their lives. I mean, that's ridiculous. And then they wake up. He's holding a knife. At least he's like, "Yo, get out!" Like, and that's legitimate, because they don't have any weapons or guns apparently. So there's like, "Yo, get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!" Um, so then Chris leaves out of the back door or whatever, and I think that's when the episode ends. But all in all, not a horrible episode. Not like like episode 2. I think was absolutely dreadful. Then there was another episode that was dreadful. The last two episodes have been okay. These episodes haven't been unbearable, but I had a lot of hope for this series. Like, I was very excited to actually start this series back up. I couldn't wait for it to start. I was like, yes, I got Fear the Walking Dead and I got Game of Thrones to watch on Sundays. That's excellent for me. That's life right there. But it hasn't lived up to the billing for me. Maybe I overhyped it in my own mind. Um, I enjoyed season one, even though season one was a little, but I still enjoyed it overall. And I thought season two can only get better and better and better. I thought they'd have great funding, but underwhelming for me. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, this is my first review. Hopefully, I can do many more. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know if you didn't like it. Let me know if you didn't want me to stop doing something. Anything at all. I take all criticisms. Welcome. And also, if anyone wants to like tag team, I've heard some reviews where people kind of have conversations about it with multiple people, and I find those extremely interesting and fun actually. Then we can gain other perspectives, and I feel like you get deeper within the episode, and I feel like it's just better for the viewers that way as well. All right, peace.